What if the stars are not distant suns, but living eyes watching you back? Hello, good evening, or maybe it's already late at night where you are. Welcome to the Still Point. If you're new here, thank you for finding us. And if you subscribed, you're part of a quiet community now. People who think, who question, who seek. Sometimes I wonder about the lives on the other side of this screen. The cities, the small towns, the different corners of the world where you might be listening. The stories that brought you here. If you ever feel moved, the comments section is there. A quiet place to leave a thought, a moment, a trace of where you are. This is your refuge. For the next hour, the noise stops. The scrolling ends. You don't have to do anything. Just be here. You're safe. Let's begin. The window has bars. Iron bars that divide the sky into sections, into fragments, into pieces of a wholeness that your eyes hunger to see complete. You are Vincent. You are 36 years old. You are in the asylum of St. Remy de Provence. And you are looking through this window at a night sky that most people would call ordinary. But you see something else. Something that makes your heart race and your hands shake with the need to paint what cannot be painted. To capture what cannot be captured. To show the world what they have never seen before. The bars are not just iron. They are the bars of your condition, of your illness, of the episodes that brought you here after you cut off your ear in a moment of desperation so complete that pain seemed like the only language left. The bars are society's protection from your madness, but they are also your protection from a world that could not understand what you were trying to show them, what you were trying to give them. The beauty that burned in your vision like fire burns in dry grass. Through these bars you see the night. Not the night that others see. Not the darkness that makes people close their shutters and light their lamps and wait for morning. You see the night that is more alive than day. More richly colored. More full of movement and energy and a secret life that only reveals itself when the sun stops drowning everything in its single note of yellow. The night sky is an orchestra, and you are perhaps the only one who can hear the music. The stars are not distant suns burning in cold space. They are eyes, living eyes that pulse with their own heartbeat, that breathe with their own rhythm, that watch the earth with an attention so intense it makes the air shimmer. You have always seen this. Even as a child in the Netherlands, lying in fields of wheat, you knew the stars were alive, were conscious, were trying to communicate something urgent and beautiful and impossible to put into words. But words are not your language anyway. Color is your language. The way blue speaks to yellow across the canvas. The way a brushstroke can carry more meaning than a sentence. The way paint, thick and alive under your palette knife, can hold the weight of everything you cannot say. Everything you feel but cannot explain. Everything that burns in you like a fever that never breaks but only transforms into vision. The asylum is quiet now. The other patients are sleeping. The attendants are making their rounds with soft footsteps and keys that jangle like small bells. But you cannot sleep. Sleep is for people whose inner world matches their outer world, whose vision aligns with consensus reality. You live in two worlds simultaneously. The world everyone agrees exists, and the world that only you can see. The world where cypress trees are black flames reaching toward heaven. where wheat fields undulate like golden seas, where the night sky swirls with currents of energy that make the aurora borealis look pale and still. This double vision is your gift and your curse, your genius and your madness. They are not separate things. The same sensitivity that allows you to see the secret life of sunflowers, the same openness that lets you feel the personality of a chair or the sole of a pair of worn boots, this same gift makes you vulnerable to the overwhelming intensity of existence. Makes you feel too much, see too much, care too much about things that others dismiss as unimportant. You tried to be a preacher once, tried to save souls in the coal mines of Belgium, but your sermons were too passionate, your identification with the poor too complete. You gave away your clothes, your food, your bed. You lived like the miners lived, suffered as they suffered, and the church authorities said you were excessive, unbalanced, not suitable for ministry. They could not understand that for you, love was not a concept but a fire, not a doctrine but a way of being that consumed everything in its path. So you turned to art, not as career but as calling, not as profession but as prayer. Every painting was an attempt to show others what you saw, to share the vision that burned in you, to make visible the invisible connections between all things. The way a vase of sunflowers could contain the entire universe. The way a simple room could hold all of human longing. The way a night sky could reveal the face of God. But the world was not ready for your vision. The critics dismissed your work as crude, unfinished, the product of an untrained hand and an unstable mind. They wanted art that was polite, refined, that confirmed what they already knew rather than showing them what they had never imagined. Your paintings sold for nothing. Your brother Theo was the only one who believed in you, who sent money month after month so you could buy paint and canvas and continue the work that was killing you and keeping you alive at the same time. And now you are here, behind bars, in a place for people who see too much or too little, who feel too much or not enough, who cannot find the narrow path between vision and madness that society requires for membership. But the bars cannot contain what you see, cannot limit the scope of your vision, cannot reduce the intensity of your perception. If anything, the confinement makes everything more vivid, more urgent, more necessary to capture before it disappears. The night sky through the barred window is calling to you, demanding to be painted, not as it appears to the casual observer, not as astronomy would describe it, but as it truly is, as a living system of energy and consciousness and beauty so overwhelming that it makes you weep and laugh and reach for your brushes all at the same time. You will paint this sky. Will find a way to show the world what they are missing when they look up and see only darkness punctuated by distant lights. You will paint the movement in the stillness, the dance of the stars, the way the night breathes, the way the sky swirls with currents of force that are invisible to normal sight but as real as wind, as real as water, as real as the blood moving through your veins. You will use blue. Not the blue of day sky, but the blue of deep water, of midnight, of the space between thoughts. And you will make it alive. Will give it texture and weight and the ability to hold light without being diminished by it. The yellow will be the stars, but not yellow as color. Yellow as joy, as hope, as the warmth that exists even in the coldest night. Yellow as the opposite of despair, as the answer to the question that blue asks, as the light that proves darkness is not empty but full, full of potential, full of energy waiting to be born, full of beauty that only reveals itself to those who are willing to look beyond the surface of things. Your brushstrokes will follow the energy you see, will trace the invisible currents that move through the night like rivers of light. Each stroke will be a prayer, a reaching towards something beyond yourself, an attempt to bridge the gap between inner vision and outer expression, between what you feel and what you can show, between the fire that burns in you and the canvas that must somehow contain it without being consumed. This is why you paint with such thickness, such impasto, because thin paint cannot hold the weight of what you see, cannot carry the intensity of your vision. You need paint that has body, that has presence, that stands up from the canvas like mountains, like waves, like the actual texture of energy made visible. Your paintings are not just images. They are objects, things that exist in space, that cast shadows, that change as the light changes, that live and breathe and age and transform. The other patients think you are strange, stranger than they are, because they at least have the decency to keep their visions private, to suffer quietly, to accept their confinement as punishment for their inability to function in the normal world. But you insist on making your visions public, on painting them, on trying to share them, on believing that what you see matters, that it has value, that it might even be true. And perhaps this is the deepest madness, not seeing things that are not there, but seeing things that are there but invisible to others, and believing that this seeing is not curse but gift, not illness but insight, not breakdown but breakthrough into a reality more real than the reality everyone agrees to call real. The madness of the artist, the madness of the mystic, the madness of anyone who insists that there is more to existence than what can be measured and categorized and explained. The window bars cast shadows on your face, divide your vision into sections just as they divide the sky. But you will not paint the bars, will not include them in your vision of the night, because they are not part of the truth you are trying to capture. They are part of the lie that says vision must be contained, that seeing must be limited, that the infinite must be made finite in order to be acceptable. Your painting will be a window without bars, a view of the night sky as it truly is, alive, moving, breathing, conscious, full of energy and intelligence and beauty that makes the heart stop and the soul expand beyond the boundaries of the body. You will paint freedom, will create an opening in the wall of consensus reality, will offer viewers a glimpse of what lies beyond the bars of ordinary perception. But first you must endure this confinement, must accept the limitation as part of the process, must understand that sometimes vision requires isolation, requires separation from the world that would dilute it, requires protection from the voices that would convince you that what you see is not real, is not valuable, is not worth the pain it costs to see it clearly. The asylum is not just your prison. It is your monastery, your retreat from a world too busy to see what you see, too distracted to feel what you feel, too defended against beauty to receive the gift you are trying to give. Here, behind these walls, behind these bars, you can see clearly, can paint truly, can create without compromise, can follow your vision wherever it leads without worrying about whether it makes sense to anyone else. And the night sky waits, patient as eternity, alive as your own heartbeat, ready to reveal its secrets to the one who is willing to look beyond the surface, to see past the darkness to the light that lives within it, to recognize that what appears empty is actually full, what appears still is actually dancing, what appears silent is actually singing with a voice that only the heart can hear. You press your face closer to the bars, feel the cold iron against your forehead, and you see it, the vision that will become the painting, the night sky not as it appears but as it is, swirling with energy, pulsing with life, moving like water, like wind, like the breath of God made visible. The stars not as distant suns but as nearby companions, as fellow travelers in the cosmic dance, as lights that shine not just in the sky but in your soul. This is what you will paint. This is what you will show the world. Not the night sky as astronomy describes it, not the darkness that makes people afraid, but the night sky as love letter, as invitation, as proof that beauty exists even in the darkest places, especially in the darkest places. That light is not the opposite of darkness, but its secret heart, its hidden treasure, its deepest truth. The bars cannot contain this vision. The asylum cannot limit this truth. The madness cannot diminish this beauty. You are Vincent van Gogh. You are 36 years old. You are looking through a barred window at a night sky that will become one of the most beloved paintings in the history of art. And you do not know this yet. Do not know that your vision will outlive your pain, that your seeing will heal others' blindness, that your madness will become the world's sanity. You know only this: the sky is alive, the night is beautiful, and you must paint what you see, must find a way to make the invisible visible, must create a window without bars through which others can glimpse the truth that burns in you like a star, like a sun, like the light that never goes out no matter how dark the night becomes. Rest now in this vision. Rest in this seeing. Rest in the knowledge that what you perceive is real, is valuable, is necessary. The world needs your eyes, needs your heart, needs your willingness to see beyond the bars of ordinary perception into the extraordinary reality that surrounds us always, that calls to us always, that waits for us to notice, to see, to paint, to share. The night sky is calling. The stars are waiting. And you are the one who will answer, who will show the world what they have been missing, who will paint the night more alive and more richly colored than the day. The window has bars, but your vision has wings, and it is time to fly. There is a tree that haunts your vision, a cypress tree that stands like a black flame against the night sky, not growing upward in the gentle way that trees are supposed to grow, but reaching, stretching, clawing its way toward heaven with a desperation that mirrors your own. This tree is not botanical, is not part of the landscape in any ordinary sense. This tree is your soul made visible, your longing given form, your pain transformed into something that bridges earth and sky. You have painted cypresses before, many times, in the blazing heat of Provence summer when they stood like dark exclamation points against fields of gold wheat. But this cypress is different. This one exists in the realm between day and night, between sanity and madness, between the world as it appears and the world as it truly is. This cypress grows not in soil but in vision, not in time but in eternity, not in space but in the dimension where all your seeing converges into truth. The shape of it defies nature and reveals nature at the same time. Cypresses do not flame upward like this, do not twist and spiral and reach with such urgent intensity. But this is how they feel. This is their inner life made outer, their secret aspiration revealed, their hidden fire brought to light. You paint not what the eye sees, but what the heart knows. Not the surface, but the essence. Not the appearance, but the reality that lives beneath appearance. And the color, black that is not black. Dark green so deep it becomes the color of night itself. The color of earth's dreams. The color of roots that have drunk so deeply from underground springs that they carry darkness like other trees carry light. But this darkness is not empty, is not the absence of color, is the presence of all colors mixed together, is the womb from which all other colors are born, is the fertile void that contains infinite possibility. You load your brush with this darkness. Feel the weight of it, the density, the way it holds light without reflecting it, the way it absorbs everything and gives back mystery. Your brush strokes follow the tree's reaching, follow its desperate upward movement. Each stroke a prayer, each mark a cry, each line a reaching towards something that cannot be grasped but must be attempted anyway. This is the tree of your childhood nightmares and your adult dreams. The tree that stood outside your window in the parsonage where your father preached about a God who seemed always angry, always disappointed, always demanding more than you could give. The tree that whispered to you in the wind about other possibilities. About a God who might be found not in sermons but in seeing. Not in doctrine but in the way light falls across a field. Not in churches but in the cathedral of the natural world. But it is also the tree of death. Cypresses are planted in cemeteries, are associated with mourning, with the passage from life to whatever comes after life. And you have been intimate with death, have felt it calling to you in your darkest moments, have stood at the edge of the abyss and wondered if falling might be easier than continuing to see so much, feel so much, care so much about a world that seems determined to remain blind to its own beauty. Yet this cypress is not morbid, is not a symbol of ending but of transformation, of the way death and life interweave, of how the deepest roots reach toward darkness while the highest branches reach toward light, of how you cannot have one without the other, cannot have growth without decay, cannot have creation without destruction, cannot have vision without the willingness to let ordinary sight die. The tree flames upward in your painting like a dark fire, like the fire that burns in you, the fire that consumes your peace but illuminates your vision, the fire that makes normal life impossible but makes extraordinary art inevitable. You are burning, have been burning since childhood, since the first moment you realized that what you saw was not what others saw, that what you felt was not what others felt, that you were condemned to a life of translation, of trying to make the invisible visible, of trying to share what cannot be shared. And the cypress understands this burning, participates in it, rises from the earth like smoke from a sacred fire, like incense from an altar, like the prayers of all those who have ever felt too much and tried to transform that feeling into something beautiful, something lasting, something that might outlive the pain that created it. You paint the tree in sections, in segments that spiral upward like a staircase, like Jacob's ladder, like the DNA of aspiration itself. Each section a different movement, a different gesture toward transcendence. Some parts reach straight up with the urgency of desperation. Others curve and twist as if dancing with invisible partners. Still others seem to explode outward like fireworks frozen at the moment of their greatest expansion. This is not how trees grow, but this is how souls grow. In spirals, in leaps, in sudden expansions followed by periods of apparent stillness, in movements that seem chaotic from the outside but follow a deeper logic, a logic of longing, a logic of love, a logic that has nothing to do with efficiency and everything to do with the heart's need to reach beyond itself. The tree dominates the left side of your canvas, takes up space like a living thing, like a presence that cannot be ignored. And this is intentional. This is your statement about what matters. Not the village below with its orderly houses and sleeping inhabitants. Not even the spectacular sky above with its swirling energies and dancing stars. But this reaching, this aspiration, this refusal to remain rooted in the merely earthly. You have always been drawn to things that reach. Sunflowers that turn their faces toward the sun. Wheat that bends in the wind but does not break. People who work with their hands and know the satisfaction of labor. But the cypress is different. The cypress reaches not towards something visible but towards something invisible. Not toward the sun but toward the source of the sun. Not toward light but toward the mystery from which light emerges. And in this reaching, you recognize yourself. See your own desperate upward movement. Your own refusal to be satisfied with the horizontal world of ordinary concerns. Your own need to stretch beyond the boundaries of the possible into the realm of the necessary. The realm where art lives, where vision dwells, where truth waits to be discovered by those brave enough or foolish enough to reach for it. The cypress connects earth and sky in your painting, serves as a bridge between the human world below and the cosmic world above, between the village with its small concerns and the universe with its vast indifference, between the temporal and the eternal, between what is and what might be. And you are this bridge, are this connection, are this reaching made flesh. But bridges are vulnerable, are exposed, are subject to forces from both sides. The earth pulls downward with the weight of gravity, of responsibility, of the need to survive in a world that does not value what you offer. The sky pulls upward with the promise of transcendence, of meaning, of the possibility that your vision might matter. And you are stretched between these forces, torn between them, made strong and fragile by them at the same time. The tree in your painting bears this tension, shows this stretching, reveals what it costs to be a bridge between worlds. The trunk is solid, rooted, connected to earth, but it does not remain solid, does not stay safely rooted. It transforms as it rises, becomes more fluid, more flame-like, more willing to risk its own stability for the sake of reaching higher. This is your autobiography in tree form, your story told in brushstrokes and color. The way you began solid, conventional, trying to fit into the world as it was given to you. The way you slowly realized that fitting in meant dying. That conformity was a kind of spiritual suicide. That you had to choose between safety and truth, between acceptance and authenticity, between the approval of others and the approval of your own deepest self. And you chose truth. chose authenticity, chose the approval of your deepest self even when it meant losing everything else, even when it meant poverty, isolation, the label of madness, the bars of the asylum window. You chose to flame upward like the cypress, to reach towards something that might not even exist, but that called to you with a voice more real than any voice you had ever heard. The paint is thick on this part of the canvas, impasto so heavy that the tree seems to rise from the surface, seems to have actual dimension, actual presence. You do not paint the cypress. You build it, construct it, give it weight and substance and the ability to cast shadows. Because this tree is not just image, is not just representation, is actual presence, is the materialization of something that exists in the realm of spirit but needs physical form to be shared. Each brushstroke is a decision, a commitment, a refusal to paint what is expected in favor of painting what is true. The tree does not look like other painted trees, does not follow the rules of perspective or proportion or botanical accuracy, but it follows a deeper rule, the rule of emotional truth, the rule of spiritual accuracy, the rule that says art must serve vision, not convention. And the tree is alive in your painting, not just depicted but actually living, breathing, growing, reaching. You can feel its movement even in stillness, can sense its aspiration even in the frozen moment of paint on canvas. This is what you have always tried to achieve, not just to show things but to make them live, not just to represent reality but to create reality, to bring into existence something that was not there before but that feels more real than anything that was. The cypress flame reaches toward the swirling sky above, toward the stars that dance in their cosmic choreography, toward the moon that hangs like a lantern in the night. But it also reaches towards something beyond the sky, beyond the stars, beyond the visible universe, into the realm where all reaching converges, where all aspiration finds its source, where all flames return to the fire from which they came. This is the tree of your longing, the tree of your pain, the tree of your hope, the tree that grows not in the landscape but in the soul, not in time but in eternity, not in space but in the dimension where all true art is born, the dimension where vision becomes form, where feeling becomes color, where the invisible becomes visible through the alchemy of paint and brush and the willingness to risk everything for the sake of truth. You step back from the canvas. Look at what you have created. The cypress flames upward like a prayer made visible, like a cry given form, like the soul's desperate reaching towards something it cannot name but cannot stop seeking. And you know that this tree will outlive you, will continue reaching long after your own reaching has ended, will carry your aspiration into a future you will not see but that will be changed by what you have dared to paint. The tree is finished, but it is also just beginning, just starting its journey from your vision into the world, from your private seeing into public sight, from your personal pain into universal recognition. The cypress flame burns upward, burns outward, burns into the hearts of all who will see it and recognize their own reaching, their own aspiration, their own refusal to remain safely rooted in the merely earthly. Rest now in this reaching. Rest in this flame. Rest in the knowledge that some things are worth the burning, worth the stretching, worth the risk of reaching beyond what is safe into what is necessary. The cypress knows this. has always known this. And now, through your painting, the world will know it too. The flame reaches upward. The tree aspires. The bridge between earth and sky stands firm. And you have given form to the formless, have made visible the invisible, have painted not just a tree but the soul of all trees, the essence of all reaching, the heart of all aspiration. The cypress flame burns on, burns upward, burns into eternity, and you burn with it, burn in it, burn as it. The tree and the painter and the painting, all one flame, all one reaching, all one desperate, beautiful, necessary movement toward the light. The stars are not what they seem, not distant suns burning in cold space, not points of light scattered randomly across the darkness. They are eyes, living eyes that pulse with their own heartbeat, that breathe with their own rhythm, that watch the earth with an attention so intense it makes the night shimmer with awareness. You see this, have always seen this, and now you must paint what you see. Each star in your vision is surrounded by its own halo, its own aureole of light that radiates outward in perfect circles, like ripples in a pond when a stone is dropped, like the rings of energy that emanate from a bell when it is struck, like the visible manifestation of sound made light, made color, made presence. The stars are singing, and their song creates these halos, these circles of luminous energy that prove they are not dead matter but living consciousness. You load your brush with yellow, not the yellow of sunlight, not the yellow of flowers or wheat or any earthly thing, but the yellow of pure joy, of hope made visible, of the warmth that exists at the heart of all things, the yellow that is the opposite of despair, the answer to the blue that surrounds it, the light that proves darkness is not empty but full of potential, full of energy waiting to be born, full of love that has not yet found its form. The paint is thick, impasto so heavy that each star rises from the canvas like a small sun, like an actual source of light. You do not paint the stars. You create them. Give them substance. Give them weight. Give them the ability to cast their own shadows and create their own weather. Because these stars are not representations, are not symbols, are actual presences, are beings that exist in the realm where paint becomes prayer and color becomes consciousness. And they dance. Oh, how they dance. Not the stately movement of celestial mechanics, not the predictable orbits that astronomy describes, but the wild, ecstatic dance of pure energy celebrating its own existence, the dance of atoms in their eternal spinning, the dance of electrons around their nuclei, the dance of life itself at the molecular level made visible in the macrocosm of the night sky. You paint their movement with brush strokes that follow their rhythm, that trace their choreography, that become part of their dance. Your hand moves not according to your will, but according to their will, according to the pattern they are weaving in the darkness, according to the music they are making with their light. You are not painting the stars. You are dancing with them, are joining their cosmic celebration, are becoming part of their eternal song. This is what others cannot see, what they dismiss as madness, the aliveness of everything, the consciousness that permeates all matter, the way the universe is not a machine but a living being, Not a collection of objects, but a community of subjects. Not dead matter moving according to mechanical laws, but living energy expressing itself through infinite forms. The stars know this, have always known this, and they're trying to tell you, are trying to show you, are trying to wake you up to the truth of what you are. Because you are made of star stuff. Literally. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen in your lungs, all of it was forged in the nuclear furnaces of dying stars. You are not separate from the cosmos, are not an observer looking at something foreign. You are the cosmos looking at itself. Are the universe becoming conscious of its own beauty? Are the stars recognizing themselves in human form? And this recognition changes everything. Changes how you see, how you paint, how you understand your role as an artist. You are not creating something new, are not imposing your vision on passive matter. You are revealing what is already there, are making visible the consciousness that already exists, are translating the language of light into the language of paint so that others might remember what they have forgotten, might see what they have stopped seeing, might wake up to the miracle that surrounds them always. The largest star in your painting pulses with particular intensity, dominates the upper right corner of the canvas like a cosmic lighthouse, like a beacon calling all lost souls home. This star is different from the others. Larger, brighter, more alive. This star is the one that spoke to you first, that called to you from your childhood, that whispered to you in the fields of your youth that there was more to existence than what the adults were telling you. You paint this star with special care, with particular devotion, layer upon layer of yellow paint, circle upon circle of radiating energy, until it becomes not just a painted star but an actual source of illumination, until it begins to glow with its own light, until it becomes a window into the realm where all stars are born, where all light originates, where all consciousness finds its source. And around this central star, the others arrange themselves in patterns that speak of intelligence, of intention, of a cosmic choreography that is both spontaneous and perfectly ordered. They are not scattered randomly across the sky, are not placed according to the accidents of gravity and time. They are positioned according to a deeper logic, a logic of beauty, a logic of meaning, a logic that the heart understands even when the mind cannot grasp it. This is the pattern you paint, not the pattern that telescopes reveal, not the pattern that star charts document, but the pattern that exists in the realm of significance, in the dimension where everything is connected to everything else, where every star is in conversation with every other star, where the night sky is not empty space punctuated by distant lights, but a living tapestry woven from threads of consciousness and love. Your brushstrokes become more confident as you work, more certain, more aligned with the rhythm of what you are painting. You are no longer fighting the canvas, no longer struggling to impose your will on resistant matter. You are collaborating, are dancing, are allowing the stars to paint themselves through your hand, are becoming transparent to the vision that wants to emerge. And the vision is this, that the universe is alive. That consciousness is not something that emerged accidentally from dead matter, but is the fundamental nature of reality itself. That what we call matter is consciousness slowed down, condensed, crystallized into forms that can be touched and measured and analyzed. But beneath all forms, within all forms, as all forms, consciousness, awareness, the same awareness that looks through your eyes and moves through your hand and creates through your brush. The stars know this, have always known this, and they are trying to remind you, are trying to wake you up to your own true nature, are trying to show you that you are not a separate being looking at a foreign universe, but the universe looking at itself through human eyes, painting itself through human hands, loving itself through human hearts. This is why you must paint them as alive, as conscious, as dancing, because this is what they are. This is their true nature. And your painting will be a window into this truth, a portal through which others can glimpse the aliveness that surrounds them always, the consciousness that permeates everything, the dance that never stops even when we stop noticing it. Each star you paint becomes a prayer, a meditation, a moment of communion with the cosmic intelligence that moves through all things. You are not just applying paint to canvas. You are participating in the ongoing creation of the universe, are adding your voice to the cosmic song, are contributing your vision to the eternal dance of consciousness knowing itself through infinite forms. And the stars respond. You can feel their response, can sense their appreciation, can feel them leaning closer to see what you are creating, what you are revealing, what you are making possible. They have been waiting for someone to see them truly, to paint them as they are rather than as they appear, to show the world their secret life, their hidden dance, their eternal celebration. The paint on your brush seems to glow with its own light as you work, seems to carry some of the actual luminosity of the stars you are painting. This is not imagination. This is not metaphor. This is the way matter responds when it is touched by consciousness, when it is used in service of truth, when it becomes a vehicle for love. The paint becomes sacred. The canvas becomes holy ground. The act of painting becomes prayer made visible. You step back to look at what you have created. The stars pulse with life on your canvas, breathe with their own rhythm, dance with their own choreography. They are no longer just painted stars. They are actual stars, living beings that exist in the realm where art and reality merge, where vision becomes truth, where the invisible becomes visible through the alchemy of seeing in paint and the courage to trust what you perceive. And you know that these stars will continue to dance long after you are gone, will continue to pulse with life long after your hand has stopped moving, will continue to call to others as they call to you, will continue to wake people up to the aliveness that surrounds them, the consciousness that permeates everything, the dance that never stops. This is your gift to the world, not just a painting of stars, but actual stars, living stars, dancing stars that carry within them the truth of what the universe really is. Not a collection of dead objects, but a community of conscious beings. Not a machine, but a dance. Not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be celebrated. The stars are finished, but they are also just beginning, just starting their journey from your vision into the world, from your private seeing into public sight, from your personal revelation into universal recognition. They will dance in galleries and museums, will pulse with life in books and reproductions, will call to people across centuries and continents, will wake up souls that have forgotten their own stellar nature. And some of those souls will pick up brushes of their own, will begin to paint what they see rather than what they are supposed to see, will trust their vision over convention, will choose truth over acceptance, will join the eternal dance of consciousness knowing itself through art, through color, through the courage to make the invisible visible. The dancing stars call to the dancing stars. The conscious cosmos recognizes itself in human form. The eternal song finds new voices, new instruments, new ways of celebrating its own existence. And you have been part of this, have contributed to this, have added your voice to the cosmic choir. Rest now in this knowledge. Rest in this participation. Rest in the certainty that what you have painted is true, is real, is necessary. The stars are alive. The universe is conscious. And you have been chosen to show this truth to a world that has forgotten, that has stopped looking up, that has stopped seeing the dance. But the dance continues. The stars keep pulsing. The cosmos keeps celebrating its own existence. And your painting, your dancing stars, will be part of this celebration forever. Will carry the truth of aliveness into a future you cannot imagine, but that will be changed by what you have dared to see, what you have dared to paint, what you have dared to make visible. The stars dance on. Dance in your painting. Dance in the sky. Dance in the hearts of all who see them truly. And you dance with them. Dance as them. Dance the eternal dance of consciousness celebrating its own infinite creativity, its own boundless love, its own endless capacity for beauty. Dance, Vincent. Dance with the stars. Dance as the stars. Dance the dance that never ends. The dance of light. The dance of life. The dance of love made visible through paint and brush, and the courage to see what others cannot see, to paint what others dare not paint, to trust what others fear to trust. The dancing stars are calling, and you are answering. You are dancing. You are alive. You are light. You are love. You are the cosmos painting itself into existence one brushstroke at a time. The sky is not empty space, is not the void between stars, is not the absence of something but the presence of everything. The sky is alive, is breathing, is moving with currents of energy that most people cannot see but that you have always known were there. Invisible rivers of force that flow through the darkness like wind flows through wheat, like water flows through channels carved by time, like consciousness flows through the universe, connecting all things in an endless dance of becoming. You see these currents, have always seen them. Even as a child lying in the fields of Brabant, watching clouds form and dissolve, you knew the sky was not still, was not static, was full of movement and intention and a kind of intelligence that spoke in the language of swirls and spirals and waves. The sky has moods, has emotions, has something like thoughts that manifest as patterns of energy flowing through the darkness. And now you must paint what you see, must find a way to make visible the invisible currents that move through the night. Must show the world that the sky is not empty but full, not dead but alive, not silent but singing with a voice that only the heart can hear. Your brush becomes the instrument through which these currents can speak, through which they can reveal themselves to eyes that have forgotten how to see. The paint flows from your brush in great sweeping curves, in spirals that echo the movement of galaxies, in waves that mirror the rhythm of breathing, in swirls that capture the way energy moves when it is free to follow its own nature, when it is not constrained by the straight lines and rigid geometries that human minds impose on the world, when it is allowed to be what it truly is, fluid, dynamic, alive. Blue, deep blue, the blue of midnight and mystery and the space between thoughts, but not flat blue, not uniform blue, blue that moves, blue that breathes, blue that carries within it all the other colors that exist in potential, blue that is pregnant with possibility, blue that is the womb from which all other colors are born. You load your brush with this blue and let it flow across the canvas like water finding its course. But it is not just blue. There is white mixed in. White that creates the foam of cosmic waves. White that shows where the energy is most intense. Where the currents are moving fastest. Where the invisible becomes almost visible. The white traces the paths of force. Maps the geography of the unseen, shows the skeleton of energy that underlies all appearance. And yellow, touches of yellow that catch the light from the dancing stars, that reflect their glow back into the swirling darkness, that prove the sky is not separate from the stars but is the medium through which their light travels, the ocean in which they swim, the atmosphere they breathe, the consciousness in which they exist as thoughts exist in mind. Your brushstrokes follow the flow of these currents. Do not fight them. Do not try to impose your will upon them. Instead, you surrender to their movement. Let them guide your hand. Let them show you where they want to go, how they want to curve and spiral and dance across the canvas. You become transparent to their energy. Become a channel through which they can express themselves. This is what others call madness. This surrender to forces they cannot see. This willingness to let something other than rational thought guide your actions. This trust in currents of energy that have no scientific explanation. But you know it is not madness. No, it is the deepest sanity. The sanity of recognizing that you are not separate from the forces that move through the universe. That you are part of them. That they are part of you. That the boundary between inner and outer is an illusion. The swirls in your painting are not arbitrary, are not random decorations applied to fill empty space. They are maps, charts of the invisible geography that underlies all visible form. They show the currents of energy that shape galaxies and atoms alike, that move through your bloodstream and through the spaces between stars, that connect your heartbeat to the pulse of distant quasars, that make you part of the cosmic dance whether you know it or not. And the dance is ecstatic, is joyful, is the universe celebrating its own existence through movement and color and the endless play of energy taking form and dissolving form and taking form again. The swirls in your sky capture this celebration. Make visible the cosmic joy that flows through all things, that animates all things. That is the secret life of matter itself. You paint with your whole body, not just your hand and wrist, but your arm and shoulder and back. Your entire being becomes involved in tracing these cosmic currents, in following their flow, in becoming part of their movement. You are not painting the swirls. You are swirling, are becoming the movement you are trying to capture, are dissolving into the energy you are trying to express. And as you paint, you feel the boundaries of your separate self beginning to dissolve, beginning to merge with the larger currents that move through everything. You are no longer Vincent van Gogh painting a picture. You are the universe painting itself, our consciousness expressing itself through human form, are the cosmic dance becoming visible through paint and brush and canvas. The largest swirl dominates the left side of your canvas, spirals like a cosmic whirlpool, like a galaxy seen edge on, like the eye of a hurricane made of light and energy instead of wind and water. This swirl is the heart of the painting, the center from which all other movement flows, the source of the currents that animate the entire sky. You paint this swirl with particular intensity, with layers upon layers of paint that create actual texture, actual dimension. The swirl rises from the canvas like a relief sculpture, like a topographical map of energy made visible, like a portal into the dimension where all movement originates, where all energy finds its source, where all consciousness recognizes itself as one. And from this central swirl, smaller currents flow outward, branch off like tributaries from a great river, like neural pathways from a cosmic brain, like the branching patterns that appear everywhere in nature, in trees and rivers and blood vessels and lightning in the structure of galaxies themselves. The same pattern repeated at every scale, the same intelligence expressing itself through infinite variations. This is what you are painting, not just a night sky, but the pattern that underlies all patterns, the movement that generates all movement, the energy that animates all energy, the consciousness that is aware through all awareness. You are painting the face of God, the signature of the divine, the handwriting of the universe spelling itself across the darkness. The paint seems to move of its own accord as you work, seems to know where it wants to go, how it wants to flow, what patterns it wants to create. You are not controlling the process so much as participating in it, collaborating with forces larger than yourself, allowing something beyond your individual will to express itself through your individual hand. This is the secret of all great art. This surrender to something larger. This willingness to become transparent to forces that want to express themselves through human form. This recognition that the artist is not the creator but the channel, not the source but the instrument, not the composer but the violin through which the cosmic symphony plays itself. And the symphony is magnificent, is overwhelming in its beauty and complexity and perfect order. The swirls in your sky are visual music, are the visible manifestation of harmonies that exist in dimensions beyond the reach of ordinary perception, are the way the universe sings to itself, celebrates itself, recognizes itself in the mirror of form. You step back to look at what you have created. The sky swirls with life on your canvas, moves with its own rhythm, breathes with its own breath. The currents of energy flow across the darkness like rivers of light, like streams of consciousness made visible, like the thoughts of God thinking themselves into existence. And you know that this is true, that what you have painted is not fantasy but reality, not imagination but perception, not madness but the deepest sanity. The sky is alive, is conscious, is full of currents of energy that connect all things in an endless web of relationship. And you have made this visible, have given it form, have translated the invisible into the visible through the alchemy of paint and vision and the courage to trust what you see. The swirling sky will speak to people across centuries, will remind them of what they have forgotten, will wake them up to the aliveness that surrounds them always, will show them that the universe is not a machine but a dance, Not a collection of objects, but a community of energies. Not dead matter, but living consciousness expressing itself through infinite forms. And some who see your painting will remember, will recognize the currents you have made visible, will feel their own connection to the cosmic dance, will realize that they are not separate observers but participants, not isolated individuals but waves in the ocean of consciousness, not accidents of evolution but expressions of the universe's desire to know itself through every possible form. This is your gift to the world. This reminder, this revelation, this making visible of what is always present but rarely seen, the swirling sky that connects all things, the currents of energy that flow through everything, the consciousness that is the ground of all being, the love that is the force behind all movement, the joy that is the reason for all existence. The paint is still wet on your canvas, still alive, still moving in subtle ways that only you can see. The swirls continue to swirl, the currents continue to flow, the sky continues to breathe with its own life. And you have been part of this, have participated in this, have allowed yourself to become a channel through which the invisible becomes visible. Rest now in this participation. Rest in this collaboration with forces larger than yourself. Rest in the knowledge that what you have painted is true, is real, is necessary. The world needs to see what you have seen, needs to remember what you have remembered, needs to wake up to the aliveness that you have made visible. The swirling sky calls to the swirling sky. The cosmic dance recognizes itself in human art. The universe celebrates its own beauty through the eyes and hands of those who are willing to see, to paint, to make visible what others have forgotten how to perceive. And you have done this, have served this purpose, have fulfilled this calling. The swirling sky lives on your canvas, lives in your vision, lives in the hearts of all who will see what you have painted and remember their own connection to the cosmic dance, their own participation in the endless swirling of energy that is the universe celebrating its own existence. Swirl, Vincent. Swirl with the sky. Swirl as the sky. Swirl the eternal swirl of consciousness knowing itself through form, through color, through the movement of paint across canvas, through the courage to make visible what others fear to see, to paint what others dare not paint, to trust what others refuse to trust. The swirling sky is calling, and you are answering. You are swirling. You are alive. You are energy. You are consciousness. You are the universe painting itself into visibility one brushstroke at a time, one swirl at a time, one moment of surrender at a time. The sky swirls on, swirls in your painting, swirls in the cosmos, swirls in the hearts of all who see truly, and you swirl with it, swirl as it. Swirl the eternal swirl of love made visible through art, through vision, through the willingness to become transparent to forces larger than the individual self. The swirling never stops. The dance never ends. The sky never ceases its movement. And you have captured this, have made it visible, have given it form, have translated the eternal into the temporal so that others might glimpse the infinite through the finite, the invisible through the visible, the sacred through the ordinary. Swirl on, beloved sky. Swirl on, cosmic dance. Swirl on, universe celebrating its own existence through the eyes and hands and heart of one who dared to see, to paint, to make visible the invisible currents that connect all things in love. Below the cosmic dance, below the swirling energies and dancing stars, below the cypress flame that bridges earth and heaven, there is a village. Small, quiet, nestled in the valley like a child sleeping in its mother's arms. The village sleeps while the universe celebrates above it, dreams while infinity swirls overhead, rests in the gentle ignorance of its own cosmic significance. You paint this village with tenderness, with the same love you feel for sunflowers and wheat fields and the worn faces of peasants who work the land with their hands. These are your people, the simple ones, the ones who do not know they are made of stardust but live as if they know anyway, who do not understand the cosmic currents that flow through their dreams but surrender to them each night when sleep takes them beyond the boundaries of their small concerns. The houses huddled together like friends sharing secrets, like family gathered around a fire, each one a small fortress against the vastness of the night, each one a declaration that human scale matters, that intimacy has its own kind of infinity, that the cosmic and the domestic are not opposites but partners in the dance of existence. The universe needs these small spaces, these quiet corners, these places where consciousness can rest from its own immensity. You paint the rooftops in shades of blue and purple that echo the sky above, as if the village is not separate from the cosmos but part of it, as if the boundary between earth and heaven is more porous than it appears. The colors flow from sky to village without sharp division, without the harsh lines that separate sacred from ordinary in the minds of those who have forgotten that everything is sacred. Everything is ordinary. Everything is both. And there are lights, small lights glowing in the windows, yellow lights that speak of warmth and safety and the human need for illumination in the darkness. These lights are not competing with the stars, are not trying to outshine the cosmic display above. They are participating in it, adding their small voices to the universal song of light, proving that every scale of existence has its own beauty, its own necessity, its own perfect place in the whole. One light burns brighter than the others. In a window that might be a kitchen, might be a bedroom where someone sits awake, unable to sleep, looking out at the night and wondering about things they cannot name. Someone like you. Someone who feels the pull of the infinite but is anchored in the finite. Someone who dreams of flying but must walk on earth. Someone who sees the cosmic dance but must live a human life. This is the light you paint with special care, with particular attention, because this is the light of consciousness awakening to itself, of awareness becoming aware of its own nature, of the human soul recognizing its cosmic heritage while remaining beautifully, necessarily human. This light bridges the gap between the village and the stars, between the ordinary and the extraordinary, between what is and what might be. The church spire rises from the center of the village like a prayer made stone, like human aspiration given architectural form. It points upward toward the swirling sky, toward the dancing stars, toward the cypress flame that reaches for heaven. But it does not try to escape the earth, does not abandon the village in its reaching. It remains rooted in the community, remains part of the human story even as it gestures toward the divine story. You paint this spire with the same dark colors as the cypress, as if they are related, as if they are both expressions of the same impulse, the impulse to reach beyond the horizontal world of ordinary concerns into the vertical dimension of meaning and mystery and transcendence. But where the cypress reaches with wild, organic urgency, the spire reaches with human intention, with conscious design, with the deliberate choice to create something that points beyond itself. And this difference matters. This is what makes humans human. Not that they are separate from nature, but that they are nature becoming conscious of itself. Nature learning to create with intention, to build with purpose, to reach toward transcendence not just instinctively but deliberately. The spire is nature's way of reaching through human hands, through human hearts, through human dreams of something greater than survival. The village is not an interruption of the cosmic story, is not a distraction from the universal dance. It is part of the story, part of the dance, the place where the infinite learns what it means to be finite, where consciousness discovers the beauty of limitation, where the eternal explores the poignancy of time. The village is where the universe comes to remember what it feels like to be small, to be vulnerable, to be mortal. And there is beauty in this smallness, profound beauty, the beauty of scale that can be comprehended, of spaces that can be crossed on foot, of lives that can be lived in relationship to other lives, of stories that have beginnings and middles and ends. The cosmic perspective is magnificent, but it can also be overwhelming, can make individual existence seem insignificant. The village reminds you that significance is not about size, is about depth, about connection, about love. You think of your own village, Grutzinder, where you were born, the parsonage where your father preached about a God who seemed always distant, always demanding, always disappointed in human frailty. But you found God elsewhere, found the divine in the faces of peasants and the texture of bark and the way light falls across a field at sunset. Found the sacred not in sermons but in seeing, not in doctrine but in the direct experience of beauty. And now you paint this village as you wish all villages could be seen, not as collections of buildings but as communities of souls, not as interruptions of nature but as nature's way of creating homes for consciousness, not as separate from the cosmic dance but as the place where the dance becomes intimate, where the universal becomes personal, where the infinite becomes lovable. The hills roll gently behind the village like sleeping giants, like the earth itself dreaming. Their curves echo the curves of the swirling sky above, as if the same energy that moves through the cosmos also moves through the landscape, as if the same intelligence that choreographs the dance of stars also shapes the contours of the land, as if above and below are not opposites but variations on the same theme. You paint these hills with the same flowing brushstrokes you use for the sky, with the same sense of movement and aliveness, because the earth is not dead matter, is not the opposite of spirit, is spirit in its most condensed form, is consciousness slowed down enough to be touched, to be walked upon, to be called home. The hills breathe with the same rhythm as the sky, dream with the same dreams, dance with the same dance, only slower, only more gently, only in a way that human feet can follow. And in this painting, in this vision of village and hills and sky and stars all participating in the same cosmic celebration, you offer something precious to the world. You offer the possibility of integration, of wholeness, of a way of seeing that does not divide existence into sacred and profane, cosmic and domestic, infinite and finite, but sees all of it as one seamless whole. one continuous dance, one endless song of consciousness celebrating its own creativity. This is what the world needs. This vision of unity. This reminder that the extraordinary is not separate from the ordinary, but is the ordinary seen truly. That the cosmic is not distant from the human, but is the human recognized in its full context. That the infinite is not opposed to the finite, but is the finite understood in its deepest nature. That home and heaven are not different places, but different ways of seeing the same place. The village sleeps peacefully in your painting, rests in the knowledge that it is held, that it is part of something larger, that it is not alone in the darkness, but is surrounded by dancing stars and swirling energies and a cypress flame that connects earth to heaven. The village does not need to understand the cosmic dance to be part of it, does not need to see the swirling currents to be carried by them, does not need to know it is made of stardust to shine with its own light. And this is the deepest teaching of your painting. That consciousness does not require self-consciousness to be beautiful. That participation does not require understanding to be complete. That love does not need to know it is love to transform everything it touches. The village loves simply by being, by providing homes for souls, by creating spaces where life can unfold in safety and warmth and community. You step back from your canvas. Look at what you have created. The village nestles peacefully below the cosmic celebration. Small but not insignificant. Quiet but not silent. Human but not separate from the divine. It is the perfect counterpoint to the wild energy above. The necessary balance. The reminder that the universe needs places to rest. Needs homes for consciousness, needs villages where the infinite can learn what it means to be intimate. And you know that this painting will speak to people in ways they may not understand but will certainly feel. Will remind them that they are not separate from the cosmic dance, but are the place where the dance becomes personal, where the universal becomes particular, where the eternal becomes temporal so that time can discover its own beauty, so that mortality can reveal its own preciousness, so that human life can be seen not as exile from the divine, but as the divine's way of experiencing itself through finite form. The painting is complete. The vision is whole. From the cypress flame that bridges earth and heaven, through the dancing stars that pulse with cosmic consciousness, across the swirling sky that reveals the energy currents of the universe, down to the village that sleeps peacefully in the valley, all of it is one. All of it is connected. All of it is part of the same magnificent, mysterious, beautiful dance of existence celebrating itself through infinite forms. And you have been the instrument through which this vision became visible, the channel through which the invisible became manifest, the human hand through which the cosmic heart painted its own portrait. You have given the world a window into the truth that surrounds them always. The truth that they are not separate from the beauty they admire, but are the beauty admiring itself. Are the cosmos recognizing its own magnificence through human eyes. Rest now, Vincent. Rest in the village of your own heart. Rest in the knowledge that what you have painted is true, is real, is necessary. The world needs this vision of wholeness, this reminder of connection, this proof that the sacred and the ordinary are not opposites but partners in the eternal dance of love made visible. The village sleeps, the stars dance, the sky swirls, the cypress reaches, and all of it is one seamless whole, one continuous celebration, one endless song of consciousness delighting in its own infinite creativity. One perfect painting of the universe painting itself into existence through the eyes and heart and hand of one who dared to see, to feel, to paint the truth that beauty is not separate from life but is life recognizing its own nature. Sleep now in the village of dreams. Rest in the valley of peace. Let the cosmic dance continue above while you find your own quiet corner of the infinite. Your own small light in the vast darkness. Your own perfect place in the endless story of love learning to see itself through every possible form. Through every human heart. Through every artist's vision. Through every soul brave enough to paint what they see rather than what they are supposed to see. The village is home. The cosmos is home. The painting is home. And you are home. Have always been home. Will always be home in the heart of the mystery that paints itself through your hand and sees itself through your eyes and loves itself through your willingness to make the invisible visible. To show the world what they have always known but forgotten. What they have always been but stopped seeing. You are the village. You are the stars. You are the swirling sky. You are the cypress flame. You are the painting and the painter and the vision that connects them all. You are the universe celebrating its own beauty through human form, through human art, through human love made visible in color and brushstroke and the courage to trust what you see. Rest, beloved artist. Rest in the village of your own being. Rest in the starry night of your own consciousness. Rest in the knowledge that what you have given the world will outlive your pain, will heal others' blindness, will remind countless souls of their own cosmic heritage, their own stellar nature, their own perfect place in the endless dance of love recognizing itself through infinite eyes. The starry night is complete. The vision is whole. The village sleeps peacefully below the cosmic celebration. And you have painted not just a picture but a prayer. Not just a scene but a revelation. Not just a night sky but the face of God smiling through the darkness. Blessing the small and the large alike. Holding the village and the cosmos in the same loving embrace. Sleep now, Vincent. Sleep in the village of peace. Dream in the starry night of infinite possibility. Rest in the knowledge that you have served the highest purpose art can serve. You have made love visible. Have shown the world its own beauty. Have painted the universe's portrait of itself as a place where every scale of existence is sacred. Where every form of consciousness is precious. Where every soul is a star learning to shine in its own perfect way. The painting is finished, but the vision lives on, lives in every heart that sees it, lives in every soul that recognizes itself in the cosmic dance, lives in every person who looks up at the night sky and remembers that they are not separate from what they see but are what they see seeing itself. Are the universe awakening to its own infinite beauty through human eyes, through human art, through human love made visible in the eternal starry night of consciousness celebrating its own magnificent existence? The journey is complete. You've traveled far tonight, through shadows, through light, through depths most never see. Your mind has done its work. You can rest now. This is the still point, your anchor in the sea of thought, a place you can always return to whenever the world becomes too loud. Thank you for listening. Thank you for trusting this space, for trusting yourself. Sleep well. Good night.